So I've had a chance to try out Druid on PTR this week. So far, it doesn't seem so good. All right, so here we are in the giant pink pyramid. We're gonna be testing out the new Balance Druid. You know, it's on PTR now, so I could get in there and actually get my hands on it, right? Get in there, play with it, see how it feels, see how it looks. I did do this a little bit earlier in the week, right? But we're gonna go ahead and try it now, just so we can, you know, I don't have any details. I tried to load some add-ons, it just wasn't working. So we'll do this. Not the best, but it's something. The main thing, I just want to see how it feels. That's why we're on the Horde Druid right now, because his gear's not also great, and I don't want to have some super geared character. Um, uh, Full disclosure, with the borrowed power systems that Blizzard uses now, this isn't going to feel great, right? Because there's no corruptions, there's no essences, there's no Azurite armor, right? All these things that we've been used to for the past 2 years, they're all gone. Predicted this was going to happen. Of course, it was known that this is going to happen. I wish they could find something else to do besides borrowed power systems, but hey. This is where we are. This is what we're using. This is what we're living with. But we're not going to deal with like the full power thing. We're just going to kind of talk about kind of how this works to start with, right? So before I look at talent or anything like that, we're just going to go ahead and start kind of going over some of the general things we have to do. Oh, I can't use these targets. There we go. That one will work. All right. So the main thing I'm going to do first, there we go. Already hit it. Right? So once you hit an eclipse, you want to try to keep this open by getting star surges off. Ah, I messed up. There we go. Try it again. Not too late. No, no, it's still going. Okay, so now I lost it. So then I need to cast Lunar Strike over and over. And now I have the solar eclipse, so now I can do single target. Now here's the weird thing, right? I hope they do something about this. More star surges. There we go. Another star surge. Keep going. Ah, I lost it. Oh, now I have both. Now that's something interesting. That's something that I wasn't prepared for. I guess we'll stick with star surges some more until, yeah, there we go. Now we got a lunar eclipse. It's kind of hard to see because I don't have. I was gonna try to put weak auras on too, and it's weird right now. So we're not gonna extend it this time. We're just gonna work now on getting into solar. I didn't mean to do a rat. There we go. So now we can do single target, single target. Gonna pull this up, and boom, 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 boom. Try to keep it going, keep it going. You know what? Maybe I should have spread them out a little more. We'll see. Not sure how that works out. I'm gonna try something a little crazy too. See, I can't stand that very long. I have to have haste. What am I looking at here? I mean, yeah. I mean, I could have more haste. Like, for instance, this doesn't have any, and I don't have sockets or anything. So a little more haste would feel better. So, but the main thing is when I'm in, I cast like to get into the AOE lunar eclipse. It's like wrath, 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 wrath till I'm over there, and then I can cast AOEs, right? And if I want to try to stay in an AOE state longer, that's when I burn my star surges, pow, 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 and it kind of extends that window a little bit. Now, if I didn't want to, I could just get out of that real quick, and then cast all the lunar strikes I could do to try to get into a single target. And I use more of my star surges there to try to keep my single target up longer. And here's something that's a little odd, right? I still want to say this was Wrath of the Lich King. I wish I remembered for sure. When they had the system in before, they had a little bar you could watch, right? And watch it swing back and forth. So you knew essentially where you were at. Especially when you're out in the world just killing little mobs, you could kind of just keep it in the middle until you knew you wanted to do, oh, massive AoE, wrath, 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 wrath. And then they didn't have Warrior of Loon then, but I could like use Warrior of Loon, pop that a few times, do a Star Surge, another one of these, and then hopefully get another Star Surge. And of course, we're keeping up our dots for maintenance and stuff. Um, that's essentially how this works. It's kind of slow and clunky now compared to what we're used to with balance. I mean, we might have to go with a feral next expansion, or just decide to heal or tank if you want, right? You're a druid, you could do all the things. But feral's kind of a tough thing too with the high skill cap, trying to, you know, you're trying to spend a lot of plates there. So, I don't know. We will have to wait and see. It's to be determined. There is one thing I want to do first, though. We're going to kind of go over all of these talents, right? It's essentially what we're going to take a look at. Hopefully in post I could do like a quick side-by-side of this, just so that we're able to see what we're dealing with. It shouldn't be all that difficult at all. Top row, nothing's changed. Second row, nothing's changed. Third row, nothing's changed. We do have our first change here in the 35-point row, right? They have this new... I'm still in combat. Awesome. I'm not going to switch it, because you're most likely going to go with the stun or the mass entanglement. I'm still running with mass entanglement. And plus, this changes depending on what you are. I'm not going to go over all of the things, but it's a new thing. It has a 5-minute cooldown, though, so... be that as it may, I don't think I'm going to run with this, right? As it sits right now. But it kind of it ties in with this here. Whatever you have picked here will give you a little something extra here. So it's neat, it's interesting. I have to play with this more. This might be something all on its own, but when you're doing PvP or even utility in dungeons and raids, just this mass entanglement's awesome. The good thing is Typhoon is baseline now. Everybody gets it. Amazing. I love it. It's great. Nothing changes here on our 40 row, right? Nothing changes on our 45 row. Kind of crazy. And nothing changes on the 50 row. So, hey, there you have it. This is really the only thing is Typhoon's baseline, so they just kind of replaced that with this. The one thing I do want to do though is get out of combat. Priminy, folks. All right. Hopefully I'm out of combat now. No. That's negative. Crazy. Try this again. Alright, so hopefully I can switch something now. I'm kind of curious, because it's a lot to do to try to do that swinging back and forth thing. So I'm just kind of curious as to how... you know what we're gonna do? Actually... yeah, we'll do that. Just for grins. I just want to see how this feels. And I'm just gonna ignore my... well, we could see how this plays together. Wow. That was actually... kind of wonder... I really need a swinging bar or some sort of weak aura for this. Kind of wonder if my moon will keep this AoE up. Let's go. It did. Wow. I went with Wrath. I messed that up. Yeah, see, now well, let's go back into Solar Eclipse. There it is. See, the thing is, we have something to keep our AoE going longer. I don't know if we have anything to keep our Solar Eclipse going longer other than a Star Surge, right? Let's try this. Too late. What we'll do... hold on. Okay, hold on. Let's get into Lunar. We're gonna save our moon. Then we're gonna go back into solar. Once that pops, we're gonna hit our moon and see if that'll extend it. Here we go. 6, 4, 3. It does not. Has to be a star surge. Makes sense. It makes sense why it would work with lunar and not with this. Let's see. Alright. I'm just kind of wondering if this might be a something viable and like a way to go. I know these moons hit like so hard. So hard. Oh man, I just wish it were back up already. It's so slow though. Not too late. Alright. Let's get back into solar. That's essentially it, right? I have to do like what I keep on calling these lunar strikes. I've been playing in Legion BFA world for too long, right? So we have these starfires. We cast it, and we get a solar eclipse. We're in solar eclipse. We cast our wraths and our star surge to try and stay in our solar eclipse, which is our single target. Then once it wears out, we're going wrath till we get our lunar eclipse. Then we're casting our starfires, and we could use a half moon, full moon, new moon, and star surges to try to stay in that AoE state if we wish to. But it's mainly just going back and forth and back and forth. And if you try to extend your window depending on whatever you're doing. If you're doing a single target, you try to stay in your solar eclipse. If you're doing AoE, you try to stay in your lunar eclipse. And that's the game. I wish they kind of had a little bar that kind of showed you going back and forth. I'm sure somebody's gonna make a weak war for it. I'm not going to, but somebody will, right? We can go ahead and take a quick look at the kitty cat because there are some changes there. I don't believe tank or healer have anything major that we need to worry about. Not by any stretch of the imagination, right? So the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is take a look at our talents. Hopefully I'm nice enough that I'll be able to throw like a quick side-by-side here, just so we can see, you know, what, if anything, is different. First row, nothing's changed. Second row, nothing's changed. Third row, nothing's changed. This is the same change, right? This right here. It depends on what you choose here. Tells you what you're gonna get there, right? So Guardian, referral, additional 20% stamina when I use Iron Fur. Alright. Frenzied Regeneration has 2 charges. Now, what that does, if you've ever watched the forums video, if you have not, I would go back and watch that. When you have Frenzied Rejuve, you pop into bear, do Frenzied Rejuve. If I could do that twice, that makes that extra powerful. So if you have a case where you really need some survivability, this is almost like an immunity for a druid. Not exactly, but almost. Right? That is pretty freaking awesome. And if it's something you could not, like in a raid situation where you don't need mass entanglement, that's pretty freaking strong. So I kind of like it in certain situations. You just have to know the situation you're in, right? Okay, this row, nothing has changed, and nothing has changed, and nothing has changed. All right. I heard there were some changes to Feral, but maybe they just took those away. Everything looks like it's doing the same thing. But so mainly for all of the druids, they get Typhoon baseline. So I could go through all of them, but we're not going to. We're good to go there. Mainly, it's that Heart of the Wild thing that has changed. Balance Druid has changed the way it really plays back and forth. I haven't had it. I'm not good enough at Feral to really go too far into that. But we're going to give it a good, honest try, right? Because right now, this is a baseline Balance Druid. I don't have Soul Binds. I don't have my... my magic class abilities from my Covenant. There we go. It took me a little while to get there. Don't have my Covenant abilities, and I don't have legendaries, right? So as those things stack on and we get our new borrowed power, that we get to use for 2 years, that they're gonna take away and do this all over again. And then it should feel better. And as it is, I could have better gear with more haste, and it would start feeling better already, to be honest with you. Let me see. I think for this particular thing, we'll let the math people really look at everything though. But oh, I gotta switch back to balance real quick. Just so we could look at one more quick thing here. You know, as far as making this a little better and a little more fun to play and a little more fluid, since it's right now it's clunky. But you know, I don't have the best gear to start with, but I kind of did that on purpose, just so I could kind of get a good feel for what this is gonna feel like. See, mastery's a little different. Solar eclipse increases nature damage by 26%, and lunar eclipse increases arcane damage by 26%. Alright. Yes, that is good. Alright. That's going to be a tough call, actually. I mean, I'm kind of really leaning back to the haste mastery, right? So we still have to wait for the math to come out on that. But I still feel they can do some work on this and make it good with our borrowed power and adding those systems in. It still needs a little something else to give it a little punch and a little spice. It's actually kind of slow, clunky, and boring right now, I have to admit. I'm not hitting a panic button yet, though. We'll have to wait and see how it feels when we're leveling out in the world. Again, since we are druids, the awesome thing is we can go ahead and learn how to play a kitty cat. And then we could always decide to change roles and go ahead and decide to tank or heal, depending on what our raid groups need, right? So, who knows? I think my raid group might need a tank next expansion. Maybe, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. And we, everybody always needs healers. I'm just not good at it, but with practice, you can be good at anything eventually. So there are options if the balance just doesn't work out, which is always possible, right? I don't know why they feel like they had to make this change. I thought the balanced gameplay was feeling actually really good. I thought it felt great out of Legion, but I guess they didn't want to, you know, make New Moon and Full Moon something you can have baseline. Kind of how it was in Legion. That was freaking awesome when we had that. But that's just by the by. I kind of wish they would have made that change as opposed to the solar and lunar eclipse change. I'm thinking back to Wrath of the Lich King. I was playing my hunter then more than my druid. Wonder why that was. Who knows? But you know, other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's just like a quick little overview of kind of it's kind of objective. I wanted to make it more objective, but you know, add-ons weren't cooperating. So we'll call this a intelligently subjective video, right? Just kind of on the feels and how things are looking so far for the Balance Druid. It looks like Feral should be playing the same now. I thought they were gonna make some changes. I messed with it a little bit over the week, and everything. You know, it seemed like I was still just spinning plates. So you know, it's one of those things. You just get a good rhythm going, and that actually does work out pretty good, and it feels very successful when you hit everything right. So that is a big possibility for DPS when in the future if this doesn't work out. So now that's it for the video. I was supposed to end it and I started talking some more. You know how that goes. But thank you for tuning into the video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please make sure you like, you comment, and you subscribe. That helps out with the algorithm and everything. And tune in for the next one. I think we're getting pretty close, and we're kind of at the place where things are going to be for Shadowlands. And you know, it's just the make or break moment. We'll hope it all works out. Make sure you guys turn on war mode.